I'm here with Steve Nicholson, Chief Football Writer at Derby Telegraph, after the Rams 1-1 draw at home to Reading. Steve, I gather Paul Clement wasn't a happy man after that.
He was fuming. I've never seen him that angry, that emotional. Usually keeps his emotions in check, but he was very, very angry, and he says that Derby were awful from start to finish. He said it was the worst performance he'd seen in his time as head coach here, and it was. He talked about application and attitude and all these different things, and these have been kind of characteristics that have been Derby's strength so far this season. But they've taken 2 points from the last 9, draw against Leeds, a draw against Reading tonight, and a defeat at Middlesbrough. Mini crisis, he was asked. He said not at all, but he said we have to improve, and they do have to improve on this performance because it certainly wasn't good enough, and Reading really should have won the game. So the only positive from a very, very poor night was the 1 point, because somehow they got a point and they didn't deserve one.
They took the lead early on, but obviously didn't build on that.
No, and I think that's the most disappointing thing, because yeah, Reading are going to come, you know they're going to make it difficult. They've got a fantastic record here, Reading, super record. Got some good players, you know, I often watch them and I wonder why they are where they are in the table. They should be higher. A lot of talent in the team. So when you get that early goal, it's exactly what you want, and Jason Shackle somehow found himself unmarked inside the 6-yard box and turned in a corner for 1-0, and you thought, go on then, build on that. You know, does that damage Reading's confidence? Can you get a second goal and take the game away from Reading? And they couldn't. They stumbled their way through the game after that. Lacklustre, no rhythm, couldn't get the passing going. Just didn't, you know, nothing really worked. And Reading got a deserved equaliser. And really, had it not been for a magnificent save from Lee Grant late on in the game when he touched Hal Robson-Carnu's shot onto a post, Reading would have won the game, and they would have deserved 3 points. We've
just spoken to Richard Keogh, who got a broken nose for his troubles tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just watching the interview there, and he's been passed a tissue because his nose started bleeding. Not nice, that. No, not a nice injury. So I believe he'll go see a specialist tomorrow and get that sorted out. Typical Rich, you know, he puts his head in there, he puts his body on the line, and he's taken a real smash in the nose tonight. So we're hoping he will be okay, because you know that partnership with Shackle has been very good. Tonight, defensively, Derby looked shaky all over the pitch without the ball. Reading were able to pass through the middle third, certainly, far too easy. The midfield balance was wrong. I was a little surprised that Paul Clement changed his shape from the normal 4-3-3 to what was more of a 4-2-3-1. Bradley Johnson was in there with Jacob Butterfield. I don't think that position suits Bradley Johnson. He's more of a marauding player, getting further forward to do that. It certainly doesn't suit Jacob Butterfield to be that deep. We saw at Hartlepool, when you get Jacob Butterfield 30 yards, 35 yards, 40 yards from goal, he can do things, he can make things happen, he can score goals. So that never worked. Reading found that too easy. They bossed that area of the pitch. The front, the three behind Chris Martin, Tom Ince never got into the game. Johnny Russell was lively early on and faded. Nick Blackman, I thought he was kind of shackled on the touchline out on the wide right. He looked a bit better when he joined in with Chris Martin in the second half in a more central area. And Chris Martin, you know, he's been getting some stick from the fans. I feel for him, to be honest. He needs more support than he's getting. Yeah, he needs to do better himself, but he needs more support. He needs better service into him. He hasn't become a bad player overnight. On the injury front, I asked Paul Clement about George Thorne, who's missed the last 2 games. He said George is now training again, and he's got a chance of being available for Birmingham on Saturday.